Good morning.
Hi.
Okay, we are recording and live streaming when you are ready, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'd like to call the Human Resources Public Works Committee to order. Agenda. Could I get a motion on the agenda, please?
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. We have an agenda. Our next item is call to the public. Do we have any public online?
We do not at this time, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
Not here either. Okay, then moving on, our next item is consider approving the fiscal year 2024 grant contract between Isabella County, the Michigan Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, and the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency in the amount of $75,745, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Hi.
Morning. Want to go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So this is the contract for the annual County Veterans Service Fund grant. As you can see, the state of Michigan has a pretty substantial amount because they roll over last year's amount every year. Previous year's amount doesn't go back into the general fund, so we got a pretty hefty amount, which we're going to use for continued outreach, which is mostly advertising. We're going with something a little different this year, taking a lot of money away from the ICTC, not doing the billboards directly. We're actually hiring a media company that we've used before, King Media, and they're going to do a breadth of things, a whole lot of different things.
Great.
They're going to do gas station videos. They're going to do online streaming videos, radio advertising. The billboards will still be there, just in different timeframes. So they're going to do a lot more, a broader reach.
Sounds really good.
Along
I'm
with
sure,
the,
yeah, I'm sure that will reach a lot more, especially younger.
that's the objective. So that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
So I know I ask this every year, but are you finding an increased amount of foot traffic into your office because of the advertisement or?
To a certain degree, it's not something I can technically track. I do have people once in a while say I saw the billboard or I saw the bus ads. Doesn't happen as much as I'd probably like to, but I have more employees mentioned than the clients do, but it's just really about saturation, because I go to outreach events and it's just about putting it out there. Like, as an example, I'll get people who won't come in for a year, but I'll see them in an event a year ago, but it takes them that long. So people come in or they don't. I mean, it's not something we can control. People come in a snowstorm and we don't think they'll come in, but it's a beautiful day and then nobody comes in. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. People come in or they don't. So
It seems like there'd be some shoulder gain too, because of the other counties. I noticed as advertising. I think I've seen it in Midland and I've seen it in some other counties.
I know that I benefit them, because when I see veterans at our events, I always ask them what county you're from. And then it's like, oh, you're Gladwin, Clare, whatever. And then I send them back. I'm assuming that it's reciprocating, because we're not against each other. We're working together. We're not in competition.
Okay.
Could I get a motion on this, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we take the fiscal year 2024 grant contract between the Isabella County, Michigan Department of Military and Veteran Affairs, the Michigan Veteran Affairs Agency in the amount of $75,745 to the work session.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 4 to the work and regular session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. The item will be forwarded to next week's meetings. Thank you. Ian?
I have the next two.
Okay. We saw that. Consider approving the advertising agreement between Isabella County and King Media in the amount of $49,845 for the period of October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024, and authorize the board chair to sign this. Okay, what do we have?
Yep. So this is actually the contract with King Media. They actually go through their contract and what they're going to do specifically: radio advertising, YouTube videos, what they call connected television, which is like Roku, that kind of streaming media, digital billboards, gas stations. So they're going to do a pretty expansive media campaign over the next year that we're going to, they've been successful in the past. We actually used King Media originally to develop our brand on the first year of the County Veteran Service Fund grant, they developed all of the brand, the everything, the rack cards, the whole artwork for the entire thing. Everything you see up is derived from their original creation. So we're going to use them again to do, because they have more buying power. You know, it costs them less money, and they can get more advertising for less money, because I'm just a piddly little me, but they're using all of their clients together, and so they can buy more radio time, more,
Great.
you know, or for less money, same for less money. Either way, it's beneficial to us. You know, they have buying power that we do not. So
Sounds good. Any questions or comments at this time?
So I will move that we take the advertising agreement between Isabella County and King Media to the work session next week.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 5 to the work and regular session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The ayes carry. Item 5 will be forwarded to next week's meetings. Okay, continuing on. The next item is consider approving the ICTC bus advertisement agreement between Isabella County and Wade Promotions LLC in the amount of $19,800 for the period of October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024, and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
So we're still going to stick with ICTC, because even a few bus ads running around the county it looks nice. You know, specifically the committee members have gotten comments from people say, "Oh, I saw you here. I saw you there." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, I saw your face on the side of the billboard." So we're going to keep that going. I'm only doing 6 this year because obviously we're putting most of the money back into King Media to give a broader reach. So kind of keeping diverse things. Hopefully it'll reach more people to bring them in the office, butts in seats, as they say.
Any questions or comments on this?
No, I was just trying to add up. Does that add up to the $75,000 grant, or what's the balance used for?
The balance is, let's see, actually we'll go back to the grant. It would be money for the Home Builder Show, the booth fees for Home Builder Show, the fair. I buy swag every year to give away at these fairs, and it goes pretty quick. I mean, that's like several $1,000s worth of swag. So that's the balance, is all of that included. I'm actually buying a big amount of rack cards. I'm running out of rack cards and business cards. So that's all the extra, that's where all the extra money is.
And that's all itemized in that grant.
Mhm.
application.
Yeah, it all marries up because the state of Michigan would not have approved it otherwise. The number actually comes directly off the contract approval from the state of Michigan.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I will move to take the ICTC bus advertising agreement between Isabella County and Wade Promotions LLC to the work session next week.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 6 to the regular and work session next week of the county commission. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The ayes carry. Item 6 will be forwarded to next week's meetings.
Thank you.
Ian.
You have a nice day.
Okay, moving right along. Item 7 is consider approving the 3-year intergovernmental agreement between Isabella County and the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe, allowing the inspection division of the Community Development Department to provide necessary plumbing, mechanical, and electrical inspections and plan review services to the tribe, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. We have Tim Leopold, Community Development Director, here to give us the lowdown on this.
Yeah, so this is a contract which we've had for 6 years with the tribe. We provide basic MEP, mechanical, plumbing, electrical inspection services to them. They have their own building official. They basically pay us for that service. It's additional revenue that we bring into the inspections fund, building inspections fund, which allows us to help keep our costs, down a little bit in some places. So we make up some revenue. Contract did expire in June. We haven't been providing services this summer for them. They had some changes and modifications that they wanted to do. We spoke with our attorney about continuing to do those services outside of the contract, and were basically advised not to do so. So they're ready to go. Their attorneys have prepared the contract, and They made some changes, some fee changes. They changed building codes that they operate under. Doesn't affect us a whole ton here, but it's things that they had to, with their own government, be able to shake out, which took some time. But we're ready to go. It's another 3-year contract and ready to get providing them service next Wednesday, hopefully.
Wow, cool. Any questions?
I just noticed, they seem to be pretty aggressive in building again.
Yes.
Got their, school recreation center and that, I don't know, it looks like an apartment there on Broadway. Behind the tribal, law enforcement center.
Yep, I believe that is a standalone, yeah, like apartment type building. I believe that's what that one is. Yeah. They got a lot going on with renovations at the hotel that took place in the last year. They're still tying a bunch of that stuff up. There's a lot of stuff.
Renovation inside the casino.
Yep, renovations in the casino and such. Yeah, new steakhouse went in, opened, I believe, in June. That all came through as well.
Mr. Chairman, I will move the 3-year intergovernmental agreement between Isabel County and the Saginaw Indian Tribe for inspections to the work session.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 7 to the regular and work session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Ayes carry. Item will be forwarded to the work and regular session. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sam.
Next good day.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, moving right along. Number 8, consider approving the agreement between Isabella County Wolverine Power Systems to service Generac generators for the annual fee of $2,420 and authorize the board chair to sign the same. We have Steve Schubacher, our facilities director, here today to give us the background. Hi, Steve.
Morning.
Okay.
So as you can see from the background, about a month ago, I brought a generator maintenance to the board and they only take care of our Generac generators. I have now found Wolverine that would come in and take care of the remaining 3. The attractive part about this is that they have the proprietary software to interface with the generators and they're the only ones in the state. So by keeping them as a contractor, we're still in their portfolio and it'll be that much easier if there is an issue with one of the Generacs that need to have the software applied to it. I would like to point out, if you look down on the Wolverine sheet, that service call is $245 per trip. They were charges $875 before I started this process, so
Oh, okay.
that's quite a substantial savings.
Why did they go down?
I think it's because they didn't get our business. and
Oh,
they
the whole
wanted it,
thing,
and they
the whole
realized that
enchilada.
$875 a trip, we weren't gonna pay for that.
So they lost that first contract and
So what they did was they then countered after the first contract, and I would not accept it. I'm a firm believer that if it's an equal and fair playing field and you give me your best quote and you don't get to slide one in later when you didn't get the quote. So when I had these 3 generators that the first company wasn't willing to take on, I think that changed their mind a little bit.
Great.
So I was pleased to see that.
Well done.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any further questions, but I will move the agreement between Isabella County and Wolverine Power Systems to service the generators to the work session.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 8 to the regular and work sessions of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The ayes carry. Item 8 will be forwarded to next week. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Make sure that this is about the board chairman's.
Okay. Next item is consider approving the individual service contract between Isabella County Commission on Aging and James Vandermeer, Carol Clute, Angela McGirt, Catherine Tobin, Judy Swartz, Steve Wood, and Mary Alsager to provide activity services, and Virginia Kane to serve as active living newspaper editor effective October 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2024, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. So we have Jennifer Crawford, Director of the Commission on Aging, here today on Zoom. What do you have?
Good morning. So we're just renewing all of our personal service contracts. We're going through the rounds of that again. So I'll be coming back to another meeting with some more. But this packet here, this is for our activities program. So all of our fitness instructors, our the painting class, and then also our active living editor. The contracts all stayed the same from this last fiscal year, so we're just asking for a renewal at the same rates for all of these instructors, and all the instructors stayed the same as well. So we're really excited. We have such a great group who provide so much for us and all those that take part in their activities. So we're hoping that you'll be willing to renew these contracts for us again and keep these programs going.
Sounds pretty straightforward. I know lots of people participate in those classes. Really.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and since the pandemic, once we started going Zoom with all the classes, we cut out our fees entirely for all of our fitness classes. And while we've been able to maintain that and afford to do that, we're continuing to keep doing that to encourage more folks to come out and take part in those classes. So for anyone 60 and older, we do provide all those fitness classes for free.
Oh,
I think that's a great service to the older adults in our community.
yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments?
Nope, I will move the individual services contracts between Isabella County Commission on Aging and a number of fine individuals to provide activity services, and Virginia Kane to serve as active living newspaper editor to the work session next week.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 4.9 to the work and regular session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Number 9 item will be forwarded to next week's county commission meetings. Okay,
Remember when we used to do those individually instead of all together?
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah,
this is great. I love this is great.
streamline it. man.
Yes.
Okay, our next item is consider approving the individual service contract between Isabella County Commission on Aging and Elizabeth Jane Starr Gepford for services as a registered nurse, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Okay, what do we have on this? Jennifer?
So this is again another renewal. This is a requirement in our in-home program for the funding that we receive from Region 7 Area Agency on Aging. We do have to have an RN who's able to review our treatment plans and to make sure that we have everything in there that we're supposed to be doing. And Jane has done a great job. We're just renewing with her. She's been on board with us for a couple of years now. You know, she's very efficient. So basically how it works is, as Jen Martin, our in-home manager, will contact her when we have a certain amount of them that need to be reviewed. Jane comes into the office, and you typically, I think we budget for about 10 hours a month. And I think on average, she's there probably 3 to 5. It just depending on how many we have each month. But she's been doing a great job and keeping us, you know, we're making sure that we're doing everything we need to do to keep the funding coming in for our program. So it's a great help for us.
Wow, she's really efficient, huh? I mean.
Yes,
it only takes
she
3
does a great job. She knows what she's doing. Mhm.
Any questions or comments?
I was just gonna say, just a comment, and my mother-in-law, who was 98 before she passed, did receive services from the Manistee County. I don't think it's called the Commission on Aging there, it's by a different name, but it was really meaningful to keep her in her home.
Yes,
Like that, so it's a good service.
absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, I will move the individual service contract between Isabella County Commission on Aging and Elizabeth Jane Starr Gepford to serve as registered nurse to the work session next week.
It's been moved and supported to move item 10 to the work and regular session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The item carries. Item number 10 will be forwarded to the work and regular session of the county commission next week. Okay. Next one is consider approving the Medicare Improvement for Patients and Providers Act Beneficiary Outreach and Assistant Purchase of Service Agreement. Wow, that's a mouthful. Between Medicare Medicaid Assistance Program and the Isabella County Commission on Aging, effective September 1st, 2023 through August 31st, 2024, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. What do we have on this one?
So here again, we're just renewing this purchase of service agreement that we've had into effect for several years. What this does is it allows, well, first of all, we have 4 MAP counselors, the Michigan Medicare Medicaid Assistance Program. our in-home program, our social workers are all MAP counselors, so they're certified, they're trained. With this program through MAP, we are able to get reimbursed for providing assistance to individuals who need help completing those low income applications that then help them receive funding or discounts on their Medicare Part D programs. So with those, we receive $150 for helping with one, $200 for the other. And then now last year, they started also providing a reimbursement for Medicare presentations that we provide. And so Jen Martin has started, she's been providing a lunch and learn program where she does provide education on Medicare to individuals. And so that has started back up again, that monthly program, and we're able to be reimbursed $200 for each of those presentations as well. And so we're helping the community, but then we're also able to get a reimbursement for that. And so last year, so in 2023, we did process 9 applications and then provided 3 of those presentations. So we received approximately $2,000 last year in these reimbursements.
Boy, I know that's really so, especially about the Part D. It's so complicated and there's so many options and
Yeah.
Wow. Sure, this is really, really good service.
Yes, and that time is coming up. That will be starting next month. We're already going to be in Med D sign up. So they're starting to get trainings lined up and getting ready for that. So it'll become really busy in our office again pretty soon. Mhm.
Any comments? For the
I was gonna
comments?
say, I think this is the program that my wife contacted the, one of your staff, because, the home that my mother-in-law lived in was saying, you need to spend down some of her assets, and there's a recommendation that, how to do it. So I can, the Commission on Aging, I have a brand new headstone on my future grave site in Manistee. My wife kind of freaked out by it, but I think it looks right, that address.
Wow,
Good program.
okay.
It is, and you know, they just truly are experts in this. I am certainly not. So I certainly always refer those ladies and gentlemen in our office. They know the ins and outs of the program, and they help so many people. It is a gift. It's a gift because it is so confusing.
And I'll show you the picture of it later if you want. We'll move the Medicare Improvement for Patients and Providers Act, Beneficiary Outreach and Assistance Purchase of Service Agreement between the Michigan Medicare Medicaid Assistance Program and Isabella County Commission on Aging to the work session next week.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 11 to the work and regular session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Item 11 will be moved to next week's county commission meeting. Okay, moving on. We got, the next item is review and assess the semi-annual grant application from Isabella County Commission requesting $555,790 for recurring programs. What do we have on this?
So this is our semi-annual 2% application. So with the Commission on Aging, one thing that we do that is different than others, one thing it was a request from the tribe many years ago was that we submit the same application in the spring and fall of the year. So this is the same application that we did submit this spring. We did receive $150,000 this spring, which was amazing from the tribe. And then and we hope that we'll receive another disbursement or award this fall with the same application. This is a complete collaboration throughout all of our programs. All the program managers help me with this. They all work on their sections, and so we this is a team effort here to get this application done every year. So it's not just, we're not asking for a specific ask. Ours is just helping to support the programs and services that we have all throughout the Commission on Aging. And so that is what our request is for.
That's great. Any comments?
I will move the semi-annual 2% grant application from the Isabella County Commission on Aging to the work session next week.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 12 to the work and regular sessions of the county commission next week on next week. All those in favor signify by, yes. signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Yes, so, okay. The motion carries and item 12 will be forwarded to the next week's county commission meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Yes, have a great day.
You too. Okay, our next item is review and assess the semi-annual 2% grant application from Isabella County Parks and Recreation requesting $50,000 for the Coldwater Lake Family Park Sewer Project. We have the director, Alexis, here today about giving us back. Hi, Alexis.
Good morning. Those motions are a mouthful.
Yeah, especially so many.
Yeah, there's a lot.
today.
So I think the board is aware of this project because there's been some ARPA funding already approved, but basically, within the last few years, Nottawa Township has passed a resolution that the public sewer connection project was going to move forward. And Coldwater Lake Family Park is within Nottawa Township and so falls under the scope of that project. So the request to the tribe for this project is pretty straightforward. The Parks Department has secured $250,000 in ARPA funding for this project. There's a pending request for an additional $100,000 for this project. And then we are asking the tribe for $50,000 in funding. And then we may seek additional funding sources, but that would also allow us to potentially cover the rest of the project from our own budget if need be. Because the park was assessed based on 103 campsites, and they have a whole chart for the residence equivalent units. And so basically the park was assessed based on 2 residences and then 0.25 residences per campsite. So the cost estimate at this time is anywhere from $350,000 to $333,000, excuse me, to $440,000 for this project. The project includes the construction of the public sewer, but then there's also costs where we would have to connect our park plumbing to that public system. And so this application just entails that entire project, and we're just looking for assistance in funding that huge chunk of the $440,000 cost of this project.
That includes connections or no?
Yeah, so
Okay, so that.
so the total-
Okay, that's-
I believe, correct, Miranda?
It's just to bring the connection to the park, but it's not actually going to connect.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so. And I believe though, what we're looking at potentially doing is, and it's gonna all come down to what. We'll get a final contract or a final assessment from the township. They're hoping to start constructions in the spring of 24, so hopefully we have a final number soon. And it would be wonderful if we find out that what we've budgeted for could include that connection, but right now we're planning for, this is gonna be the cost of building that system, and then if we can connect to it under this same budget, great. If we can't, we'll circle back for funding from other sources.
Okay. I knew that was a consent decree that they had to do that. It sure has taken a long time. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, there was multiple phases. I know the Beale City portion of it is done, and now they're moving into the Coldwater Lake portion of it. And there's, I think, 3 or 4 zones within the lake area as well. So a really large project, but one long-term benefit for the park is that this would allow us eventually the capability to create full hookup campsites where individuals could have power and flowing water and drainage right there on their
Wow.
site, which would
Yeah.
actually make our park a much more desirable camping destination for those with a large camping unit as well. So huge initial investment, but it has long-term benefit for the park.
Right, definitely.
The
and-
lake.
Yes, and the lake. And so that's another thing, with
Above all.
the tribe's focus on water quality, this kind of fits into their priorities. And so we're hoping that they see it as a valuable project worth funding.
So most of the cost goes just for the basic structure of the whole project.
The largest cost is the actual construction of that sewer main in front of the park, basically. But then we also will have additional costs, probably smaller, to kind of dispose of the existing septic tanks and system, and then to connect, there's a connection and a grinder station from the park to that sewage main.
Mhm.
And then, not part of the grant, but there'll be ongoing fees for just maintaining that and the water usage. But the huge, large initial cost is just that upfront construction of the sewer connection.
Right. Makes sense.
The only comment that I would make is I know you say it'd be a benefit to the park experience, camping experience. I kind of swallow hard when I hear that, especially since I was Parks and Recreation Director and I looked at the campground filling and they're so small. It's like city of Detroit camping experience. I would never camp there only because and this is just encouraging more larger units and it seems like it would take away from the enjoyment of the camping experience. But that's just my thought on it.
Yes, and it's a good thought. And to counter your thought, I just want to make clear, that is an option in the future. This project in no way means that we've decided to go full hookup on all sites or that we're even starting that. This sewage connection just creates that as an option. And then also I do want to point out that the sewage connection itself is not optional for us because of the resolution passed by Nottawa Township. So although we support clean water and water quality and we want to do our part in that, this project is something that we are required to do basically by the township's
No
resolution and
alternative.
requirements. Right, exactly. So there's no alternative, and all we can do right now is try to find diverse funding sources and
You
be
saw
able
it
to move
coming though,
forward.
right? Or
I
not?
I think there was a lot of talk about the project and there were some public input opportunities before they passed that final resolution. And now for our zone, we're coming kind of at the tail end. Like I said, the village of Beale City has already been completed. And so, yeah, it's been coming down the pipe for a while.
So another positive in the future is if you don't need the drain field, you have another piece of property that you could replant trees or do something to enhance the park. So,
Yes, definitely.
Mr. Chairman, I will move that the semi-annual 2% grant application from the Isabella County Parks and Recreation Commission be moved to the work session next week.
It's been moved and supported to move item 13 to the regular and work session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. The ayes carry. The item will be forwarded to next week's meeting.
Thank
Thanks,
you very
Alexa.
much.
Enjoy
Okay,
your day.
moving right along. We have item 14, which is review and assess the semi-annual 2% grant application from the Isabella County Material Recovery Facility requesting $150,000 for the recycling program. We have Jake here for our back.
Good morning.
Jake Borden, director.
This is our standard 2% application that we've kind of moved in the 2.5 to 3 years now to every semi-annual request is basically the same. It's for a 300,000 total, 150 in the spring and 150 in the fall.
Because you never know what's going to break down, huh? You need to.
We do not, sir.
Okay,
Mr. Unless you have a comment.
no, I don't.
I will move then that the semi-annual 2% grant application from the Isabella County Material Recovery Facility be moved to the work session next week.
It's been moved and supported to move item 14 to the work and regular session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. The ayes carry. The item will be moved forward to the regular meetings next week with the county commission. Jake, I just wanted to say that I'm going to the MAC conference in Kalamazoo, and Christine from Eagle will be making a presentation that Mike suggested a long time ago.
And there's actually quite a few different work sessions over the next month and a half. Eagle is going to be doing on MSP.
Right, the regional ones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on the 21st. One in St. John. Okay.
Good.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Jake.
That being the case. call to the public.
There is no one on the online at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Then in that case, I will adjourn the meeting of the Human Resources and Public Works Committee meeting. Thank you.
Hold on.